we're here to do a deeper dive with Matt Ellerding. And Matt, thank you very much for being here and sharing your information. We appreciate it. 27,000 people in your database. How did you get that many people in your database?
I was told that sex sells. Is this helping? 27,000. I what I did, Chad, is I just, like I said earlier, I just kept adding names every single time. Like for example, the listing agent on a purchase from 2011. Jane Smith or whomever, she's in there and she knows what I do for a living and hopefully the transaction went well and it's not that we're hardcore marketing to her. I mean, she was merely the listing agent on some random purchase that we did 11 years ago. But the point is that I just wanted to keep adding names and as much as I hate to admit this, it's more about avoiding the need to either cold call or to do any sort of traditional sales methods that everybody else is doing. I want to capitalize on the fact that I have a lot of folks in my network and then just keep sort of exploiting that, right? In a good way. And so that's Now again, I as I mentioned earlier, 27,000 names. You can't effectively market to that many people. You have to sort of be a little bit more intentional. So that's why we it's called ID status within ACT. So every one of those 27,000 people are something specific. Now, my brother, for example, he's a friend, he's family, he's a client, he's a prospect, he's a referral source. I mean, he's on the Christmas card list. I mean, or the Christmas letter list. He's a lot of different roles to me, and so what happens is I pick the role that's most appropriate, and there's subgroups. So, and it's not. I mean, I don't want to make it sound like it's overly technical because it's not. But I just think that as long as originators do something to capture their past clients, their prospects, their referral sources. Because the other cool thing, I didn't mention this in the original video. I wish I would have, but I can go in there and type in, let's say Jennifer Belmore, for example, is somebody who I've worked with off and on for years. I can tell you every single person that either she sent to me or that I've sent to her, and track it and know who's sending me the lion's share of our business. The other cool thing is that when I get a new referral, I can do the whole sort of Kevin Bacon connection and say, okay, this person came to me from this person who was, this person's agent who was boom, 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 and you just keep whittling it down to see where it originated from,
and then you turn that referral back to that
exactly. So I love calling agents out of the blue and saying, hey, remember about 14 years ago when you sent me so and so? Yeah. Well, they had a brother who sent me blah 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 blah, and that blows their socks off because they're like, wow, I mean this and all it is me just typing in keywords into my database. I mean, it's remarkably easy.
We talk about in our office trying to get even remotely close to what you've done with your database because it's impressive. But one of the things that I think I find the most impressive is when I talk to everybody knows Matt. When I talk to other people, a baseball parent, parent of one of the teams that my son played on, they know you, and every person I talk to you, they think you're friends. Like you guys have this super close relationship. How do you do that with so many people? How do you make so many people think that you're just
Look, I've always. I might get choked up when I talk about this. This is my death date, all right? June 11th, 2056, and it's tattooed on my wrist for a reason. And it's tattooed in a way that I can see it. I don't care if other people see it or if it's upside down to them. This is meaningful to me because I'm here for a short time, a very short time. All of us are. And I want to extract as much enjoyment and fun and meaningful encounters, and memories, and so I've always just been, as cliched as this is, I've always been true to myself. I'm going to be me. I get myself in trouble all the time. I use language that's maybe not terribly appropriate for a conversation, and then it gets back to me that I shouldn't be dropping F-bombs when I'm talking to Agnes, who's 76 years old and whatever. But fucking Agnes. The reason I think that people feel, and it's not that it's disingenuous. It's not. I mean, I do like those connections because that's the name of the game, and so I've always just been very sort of a little bit goofy and non sequitur, and because that's what works for me, and it resonates with people, and so I appreciate that feedback because that's exactly what I'm shooting for.
You're
is
doing
to
a great
have
job.
that.
It gives us all something to work towards, and I know we're trying to get there. We're nowhere near where you are with it.
What are you guys using for a database?
Well, we're actually in the process of changing. We've been using Total Expert, and it works great, but we want something that's a little bit more front loaded for the to marketing to our leads, because we have a lot of people right now who are pre-approved that have been looking for 6 months, and they're starting to, with rates going up, they're starting to fall off. So we're trying to get a system that's a little bit more front loaded. Mm-hmm. And right now we're looking at MLO Flow as kind of the lead candidate, but we're still working on it. And that's one of the reasons why I want to have this conversation with you. I know ACT from my previous life in a different business. I used it, and it's a great program. But
I mean, it's antiquated, it's old, and they've done a pretty good job of continually updating it over the years. And like the human brain, I mean, I'm using maybe 10% of its capabilities. I mean, ACT is an incredible program that has all these activity series and all this cool sort of subset items that you could do, and I've either never had to or never taken the time to learn to do those things. But if you do a little bit of homework and research the database that's going to serve you well, and I've done a very good job of customizing it to just to us, to what works for us, mortgage related, because ACT is used by all kinds of different industries. Yeah. But I've spent a lot of time. I have an ACT consultant that I'm happy to share his name and number. He's been an absolute goldmine for me. And his name's Marshall Hayes, and he bills by the hour, but he'll take time with me to kind of get everything set up, because there's some technical behind the scenes stuff that you do have to kind of navigate through to make the database specific to you, but it's a one-time shot, and once it's dialed, it's dialed. And so now my team and I, when we input information into ACT, everybody, when they pull up that person, when I pull up, Chad Parks on the database, if you get a new cell phone number and I type it in, and Angela pulls your name up, a nanosecond later, boom, it's there, and everything is in real time. And so that's our way of tracking everything from expiring rate locks to are the docs out to do I have a colonoscopy appointment next Wednesday? I mean, everything in my life is managed by ACT, and all of it goes to my phone's just out of reach there, but all of it goes to my phone here. And so I have an app on here called Companion Link, and it talks to my database. Oh. And so what's really cool, not to get too technical here, but what's really cool, so when I have a new file, I change it from ID status prospect to pipeline. And the moment that ACT sees that it's pipeline, everybody tied to that transaction, both buyers, their emails, their cell phone numbers, the buyer's agent, the listing agent, escrow officer, the lock expiration date, the loan amount, everything that's relevant to that file immediately goes into my phone, right? And so I can be driving down the road, not that I would ever check my phone while driving, I mean, come on. But when I get to a stoplight, I would pull it up and say, okay, the Smith loan is going to expire next Wednesday, so I need to make sure these guys sign by such and such, but everything's right there. Now, the moment they go from pipeline to client, with their status, it gets sucked back out of the phone.
Gotcha.
Now, there's certain people that, like, let's say that I really had a good rapport with the buyer's agent, somebody I didn't know before. So during the process, there's another little subgroup called BlackBerry updates, because years ago I was rocking a BlackBerry. But the BlackBerry update group is people that I want, people like you and Dayton and other people who are in my life, who I want them to be in my phone at all times. So when you call me, I see that it's you, and I can text you or whatever. But that little subgroup is for all the people that I want there at all times. But all the other folks, I mean, some random listing agent from a purchase from 6 months ago, I don't need her in my phone, but she's in there for when it counts. So that's again, one of those technical pieces that takes a little bit of time to set up, but I'm telling you, it's totally worth it, because with my database and my phone being able to communicate in real time, nothing gets missed, and that's the name of the game for me. So
excellent. That's great stuff, man. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, I'm happy to do it, man.
Yeah, it's
happy
good stuff.
to do it. So.
Hey, if you like this content, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this with some friends.